civilian governance does not meet the needs and the aspirations of people, there has to be an urgency for politicers, for those in power, to recognize that you cannot have a case where people are voting and, when they go to the shops, food inflation is at 38, 40%. That is unsustainable. That is not healthy for democracy. That is a challenge. That is an imminent threat to your democracy. When you have youth unemployment, underinvestment in public goods and public services, these are the real threats of democracies, not militaries. Militaries come later on when they sense the popular mood, that people are dissatisfied with their elected leaders, and they take advantage of those sentiments, they exploit them. Militaries will not come into power if civilian governments are popular. They also desire legitimacy. So even in Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali, we saw them tap into that discontent and that desire for someone to be the adult in the room and step in and address, persistent insecurity in this region. So these are the threats that we should be paying attention to, not so much focusing on men in uniform, but what the things that weaken democracy for citizens in and of itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lina from Chatham House, the Africa program. Very brilliant contribution to this discussion on charting the future of democracy in Africa. If you recall, the speeches that we had earlier, Dr. Ibrahim Assal, the keynote address by President Obasanjo, the address by President Tinubu, and the rest, and the exciting poetic utterance, I would say, of Chukwumerije. They all converge to tell us where we are. So the discussion, this panel, is not to tread on that track again, more or less, but to tell us where we should be so we can do some gap analysis and see how we can close the gap. So as I call on other presenters, please let us focus on the charge